a little different than me and Brian. She's a little prettier.
I don't have quite as many tattoos. How you guys doing today? Yeah. Everybody go to the party last night? Yeah. You were gonna ask, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that was definitely a clearly been out the night before whoop whoop. I was like, all right, so here we are. Yet again, any questions? Any? Do you know any jokes? Any good ones?
Give me a minute.
Thomas, tell us about the tattoos.
Yeah, she wanted to ask me that yesterday. Okay. I'll do them in the order I got them. These are my three heritage lines are Welsh, Dutch, and Irish. So this is Dutch for wisdom, Irish for faith, and Welsh for strength. It's kind of like we're supposed to be kind of compass. I don't know. I thought I was a hippie or something at the time. That's my zodiac planet, Saturn. This means the world spins in French, which was a quote that I'd heard from a priest in France when I was very young, my parents. This one's kind of big. This is a spear. This is an anchor. This is a house. And this is a sailboat. To kind of fight for what you believe in and to not go too crazy, to never forget where you come from, and to always discover new things. They go round and round. This is a wolf. Yeah. Dad. And then I have ones on my ankles that are for my dad, but I'm not going to bother to do that. Then I have the ones on my chest, which are 60mm cameras that look like guns. It's supposed to be a little trick. Because my joke is that if you see me from a distance, you'll think I'm gangster for guns, but then you get close up and you realize I'm a big geek. Big film nerd. Anyway, yes, I think that's all of them. Oh no, there's that one. Never mind. Good way to start the day.
Good morning. Well, Thomas, yesterday we saw your video. Actually, it was shown on screen here.
Which video?
The music video.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So can you tell us a little bit about how it was made and so on? And I like the music, by the way.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've never actually talked about that. And I actually made it near shooting the end of second season. Funnily enough, I actually think it was shot a week before we did our big scene, the big long speech, which is really our only scene.
That's our only scene
in the series.
in like 8 months that I was there.
We just kind of passed each other on the lot.
Peace.
So the music video was, as usual, it was funded by myself, and it was a lot of favors, and it's inspired by a cult sci-fi film from the 80s called Liquid Sky. It's sort of this, I don't know if anyone in here has heard of it or seen it. It's kind of this, based in New York, really crazy, trippy movie that was sort of this ultra-modern, glam, androgynous film, and there's a woman in it who's plays a male model and a female model. She plays two roles, and they all wear this kind of, the blacklight UV, glow-in-the-dark paint, which I'd always kind of just been interested in. I'd seen the movie many, many years before. And the lyrics in the first verse are actually the speech that she gives at the end of the film, with a few tweaks here and there. And so we shot it in a soundstage in downtown LA, and we had an 18-hour day of building the set because it was just a big empty room, and we had a ridiculous amount. We had hundreds and hundreds of black lights because in order for the UV to show up on the camera that we were shooting on, which was the EX3, because it had good slow motion rate for the paint flying, you have to really blast it with blacklight, otherwise it just doesn't show up. So we had hundreds and hundreds of bulbs and a pretty big crew. We had an 18-hour setup day, and then the next day we shot the whole video in one day. And the twins in it, and the twin brothers in it, are just friends of mine since I was about 15, and they're actually here in London right now. I saw them last night. And then the paint that flies at me was... What? Yeah, it's there. There it is. And the paint that flies at me is actually wall paint, and because it was the only thing that was bright enough, but it hardens really fast. So we threw it on, and we had to. This is cool. We had to wash it off immediately. So I was hosed down with freezing cold water before it stuck. But yeah, it's really cool. I didn't know that you guys were watching this a few years ago now, but yeah, wow, God, people must think I do a lot of drugs, but I don't. It's just images. Sorry, that was a long answer. But there you go.
Thank you very much.
Trippy.
Right. This one's for both of you.
For me? Okay.
Both of you.
Both of us.
Now, Fox has a really bad track with sci-fi shows. They cancelled Sarah Connor, Dollhouse, Firefly, Dark Angel. Do you think that if the show had been on a different network or on a cable show, it might still be going? And also, do you think the way that the TV industry is now, the main networks aren't a good forum for sci-fi shows?
I think that had it been on the Sci-Fi Network, it would probably still be going. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but they've actually picked it up to rerun it in the States. What do you think? Do you think it might have survived on Sci-Fi?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, but actually, Brian and I talked about this before. I think that it definitely would have lived longer, but I don't know if we would have had the kind of epic scope for many of the episodes, that we were allowed in the beginning, at least.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I.e. the budget.
The budget, yes.
Yeah, well,
Because
there's always that.
The main networks do bring in a lot of cash, but...
Yeah. Sorry, what was the other part of your question?
Do you think that the way that the TV industry is now in the States, sci-fi shows, that the main networks isn't a good forum for sci-fi shows? Because whenever they pick up one, they just cancel it.
Yeah.
I think that differs from show to show. Terminator, I believe, had the highest debut that year for a scripted show. What happened though, and I know that we spoke about this a couple of times during the meet and greet, was 9 episodes into the first season. Yeah, there was a writer's strike. So that's generally about the time when a show starts to find its legs and really consolidate a loyal fan base. And at that crucial point, production had to go dark. So I think that for Terminator, that was a big part of it. And I don't know about sci-fi shows in general, but I think that one would definitely have sustained had that not happened. What do you think about that, though?
I agree. Show or in our entire...
well, if it helps, just narrow it down to the show. But unless there's something that you can recall from something else.
Memory-wise, one of the hardest scenes I've ever had was that one with you, because I talked for 5 pages.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. And I just got to stand there and be stoic. It was awesome.
Do you remember we did a whole take, and we didn't have one screw up, and then the damn door wouldn't close when you went to leave, and it like banged and reeled. It's on the gag reel. It's on the bloopers.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. The scene where I killed Riley was tough. I think we talked about this the other day. It was a really long fight scene, I think, and it was obviously very physical because it's a fight scene, but that was also challenging because that scene started with drama, so there was a heightened emotion in it, and Levin was crying, and we were both very emotional. So that was one that stands out in my mind as having been a very challenging scene. Yeah. My first scene on Terminator was also quite challenging. Basically because I walked into the makeup trailer and went, "Hi, I'm Stephanie," and Brian went, "Hi, I'm Brian." We went on set and took our clothes off and got into bed. There was that.
I don't know. It's a hard question. On the show there was a lot of emotional stuff. To do. I genuinely can't recall one scene in particular that was there was a lot. The pilot was really physically taxing. There was especially because I just wasn't used to it. It was my first foray into anything action, and I got hurt a lot. So that was technically challenging. And then I've had subsequent work. But the hardest thing I've probably ever done is in a movie that's not out yet. So none of you. So I'm not going to bother. You'll wait and see. You'll see it.
Hi, I have a question for both of you.
Stephanie, obviously Jess's story evolved majorly as it seemed like every episode you were in, something else was revealed about you. How much did you know when you were cast, and how much was it a surprise to you as much as to us?
I knew nothing. Basically, I knew she was a resistance fighter. I knew she was going to be a love interest for Derek. I actually believe that their intentions for her changed a couple of times during filming. I guess that's the beauty of a recurring character. You sort of have, you know, or I guess the producers and the writers kind of have an open license. Yeah, and I think that she sort of evolved in a way, or her organic evolution just kind of made sense as we went along. And so yeah, I mean that's why I think that initially I was supposed to be there for I think 5 episodes, and then you know I guess they spotted a couple of things about her that worked, and so I stuck around. But yeah, it was great. Glad I did. Thank you.
And Thomas, you got to do some really strange things on Terminator. I mean, the days when you're pretending to take a chip out of Summer's head.
Yeah.
Are those the days when you sit there going, what am I doing? And do you have that kind of surreal moment and you go, that's just...
Oh yeah, there were many days like that, and particularly like I spoke about yesterday, just Lena and I are a horrible combination to do anything really that's like ridiculous or unbelievable, because we just sort of egg each other on about how I remember. Oh man, I remember there was in the first episode of season 2. I don't know if you guys remember, but there's a bit where Cameron's chasing us and we electrocute her in the church, and we're racing to get the chip out. And I think it was just because it was near the end of shooting that pilot, and I'm in that fucking wig in August, and you're sweating, and we've been running, and like that whole episode was kind of a riot. And I just remember we could not get through miming taking the chip out because Lena had to keep going, push harder, harder. It's like, I'm trying. It just, I don't know, it was just really, it just felt bizarre and ridiculous. And Summer's like head is like lolling around. I saw a great shot. They played it back on her face while I'm doing it. And it was just on her, so you could just hear Lena and I going like, and then you just watch Summer be like, it was just a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh, and in that episode too, I was supposed to run out the church and fall. It said in the script, John rushes out of the church and trips over a fruit cart with 2 more ribs, because we think Josh just wanted us totally beat up. And when we get to the set of this actual church in downtown LA, it's like a staircase this big with an empty street and 1 fruit cart. And like, the savior of humanity has to run directly at the fruit cart? Like, wouldn't we go around it maybe? I don't know. And actually in that episode, if you rewatch it, which I'm sure you have the DVD, when Lena and I are running from those church steps, you watch Lena go like this, because we're cracking up from the goddamn fruit cart. The fruit cart was around for a long time. Anyway, sorry. Long answer. But it's all true. Oh, the fruit cart. Awkward.
Anybody else?
Yeah.